What if I told you that your exhaustion isn't an accident? That billion-dollar corporations have engineered a system specifically designed to keep you one paycheck away from panic, working yourself into the ground while believing that someday, somehow, it'll all pay off. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to see your job, your stress, and your entire relationship with work in a way that changes everything. Right now, 83% of American workers are drowning in work-related stress. Not just feeling a little tired on Monday morning. I'm talking about genuine, medically significant stress that's costing this country over $300 billion every year. That's $820 million lost every single day to burnout, absenteeism, and people literally working themselves to death. And here's the part that should terrify you. 120,000 Americans die every year from workplace stress-related causes. Heart attacks, strokes, burnout so severe it becomes fatal. Your job is literally killing people, and nobody's talking about it. But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't some unfortunate side effect of modern capitalism. This is the design. The system needs you exhausted. It needs you hopeful, but broke. It needs you, exactly, $0 away from panic. Because the moment you have breathing room, the moment you can afford to think clearly or take a risk or walk away, you become dangerous to the machine. Let me paint you a picture of what's actually happening right now. Nearly half of all North American workers, 49%, feel daily work-related stress. Not weekly, not occasionally, every single day. And it's not getting better. Burnout rates jumped 25% in just 2 years. Right now, 44% of workers report being completely burned out, and 1 in 3 people are persistently stuck in that state. By early 2025, 85% of workers reported feeling burned out or exhausted. Almost half have had to take mental health-related leave. 1 million workers are absent every single day because of stress. Now, I know what you're thinking. Maybe people just need to toughen up, right? Maybe this is just how work is supposed to feel. But hold on, because the numbers tell a darker story. 62% of workers say they feel pressured to keep working even when they're burned out or struggling mentally. And 61% believe their employers care more about productivity than their well-being. Think about that. The majority of workers consciously understand that their company would rather squeeze another hour of work out of them than protect their mental health. And this pressure, this constant grind, it's not equally distributed. Gen Z workers are getting absolutely destroyed by this system. Over 70% struggle with workplace well-being, and they're experiencing burnout 17 years earlier than previous generations. 17 years. These are people in their early 20s, already showing the psychological wear that used to show up in people's 40s. The system is burning through humans faster than ever before. But here's the thing most people miss. This isn't about bad bosses or toxic workplaces, although those definitely exist. This is about incentive structures built into the foundation of how modern employment works. After the 2008 financial crisis, corporations discovered something beautiful. From their perspective anyway, they could restructure, lay off workers, and make the remaining employees do more with less. Productivity went up, profits went up, and all it cost was your sanity. The phrase "do more with less" became corporate gospel. Lean teams, agile workflows, hustle culture. It all sounds so positive until you realize it's code for "we're going to extract maximum value from you while paying you, just enough to keep you from quitting." And the brilliant part, the truly genius move, is that they convinced you it was your fault. If you couldn't keep up, not enough resilience, poor time management, need better work-life balance. Meanwhile, they're loading you with the work of 3 people and acting shocked when you crack. Let me tell you what's really happening behind the scenes. Employers benefit massively from keeping you in this state. You're too exhausted to look for better opportunities, too stressed to negotiate for higher pay, too scared of losing your income to push back on. Unreasonable demands. 79% of employees admit they sacrifice their mental health just to meet work demands. Almost everyone watching this video right now has made that trade. Your well-being for a paycheck, your peace of mind for job security, and the psychological contract, the unspoken deal between you and your employer, has completely shifted. It used to be, you give loyal work, they give stable employment and fair compensation. Now it's, you give everything, your time, your mental health, your relationships, your sleep, and in return you get just enough money to survive but never enough to feel secure. You're kept in a permanent state of economic anxiety, always one disaster away from catastrophe. This is where the real control happens. When you're living paycheck to paycheck. When you've got 59% of employees experiencing negative stress effects monthly, damaged relationships, poor health, sleep loss, you don't have the luxury of dreaming bigger. You can't take risks. You can't start that business. You can't go back to school. You can't even take a mental health day without worrying about how it looks to management. You're trapped. And the trap is designed to feel like freedom because, hey, at least you have a job, right? Now here's where this gets even more disturbing. The system doesn't just want you broke, it wants you hopeful. Because if you were completely hopeless, you'd quit, you'd revolt, you'd burn it all down. But if you're hopeful, if you believe that one more promotion, one more year, one more performance review might finally get you there, wherever there is, then you'll keep grinding, you'll keep sacrificing, you'll keep playing a game. That was rigged before you ever sat down at the table. Think about the mental health support you get at work. 81% of employees say they need better resources, especially to deal with external pressures like political turmoil and economic uncertainty. And what do companies offer? Wellness apps, meditation sessions, pizza parties, band-aids on bullet wounds. They'll give you a yoga class but won't reduce your workload. They'll encourage mindfulness but won't pay you enough to stop worrying about rent. It's all reactive, surface-level nonsense designed to look like they care without actually changing the conditions that destroy you in the first place. Some experts will tell you this is about individual resilience. Learn to cope better, set boundaries, practice self-care. And sure, those things help, but they're also conveniently shifting responsibility away from the system that created the problem. It's like telling someone drowning in the ocean to just swim better while ignoring that someone else threw them off the boat. Personal coping strategies are fine, but they don't change the fact that the boat shouldn't be throwing people overboard. The alternative perspective that nobody wants to talk about is this. What if the stress isn't a bug? What if it's a feature? What if keeping you chronically anxious, chronically tired, and chronically hopeful is exactly how the system maintains control? Because stressed people don't organize. Exhausted people don't protest. Hopeful people keep showing up. And before you think I'm being too conspiratorial, let's look at what happened during the pandemic. 45% of workers said their burnout got worse even after widespread remote work adoption. You'd think working from home would help, right? But what actually happened was the boundaries between work and life completely collapsed. People started working longer hours because they could never really leave the office. It was always right there in the next room. The system adapted. It found new ways to extract from you even when you thought you'd escaped. The financial piece is crucial here. Wages have stagnated while cost of living exploded. You're working harder than your parents did for less purchasing power. The median worker today can't afford what the median worker could 30 years ago. Housing, education, healthcare, all of it costs exponentially more while your paycheck barely budges. This isn't accidental economic drift. This is policy. This is designed. Because when you're financially insecure, you're controllable. And the people at the top, the billionaires, the executives, the investor class, they're not experiencing any of this. While you're choosing between therapy and groceries, they're buying their 4th vacation home. While you're losing sleep over a car repair bill, they're literally going to space for fun. The wealth gap isn't just growing, it's accelerating. And it's accelerating specifically because the system extracts value from your labor, your stress, your health, and funnels it upward. This is the part where someone always says, well, just quit and start your own thing. And sure, some people can, but most people can't, because you need capital to start a business. You need time to build skills. You need a safety net to take risks. And if you're living $0 away from panic, you don't have any of those things. The system keeps you just stable enough that quitting feels more dangerous than staying. That's the trap. Now, the future of this looks grim if nothing changes. Experts predict annual costs from work stress could hit $350 billion by 2030. More chronic health conditions, more deaths, more people checking out mentally while still showing up physically, and corporations will keep offering superficial solutions while the real problem remains untouched. But there's another possibility. Early signals suggest people are waking up. 52% of workers have considered quitting because of mental health concerns alone. Younger generations are rejecting hustle culture. Labor organizing is increasing. People are demanding not just better wellness programs, but actual structural change. Less hours, more pay, real work-life boundaries, protection from exploitative practices. The question is whether that momentum builds into something transformative, or whether the system adapts again, finding new ways to extract value while making you feel like you're being heard. Because that's what it does best. It absorbs resistance. It rebrands exploitation as opportunity. It keeps you hoping that if you just work a little harder, sacrifice a little more, you'll finally break through. Here's what I need you to understand. You are not failing. You're not weak because you're burned out. You're not broken because you can't keep up. The system is working exactly as intended. And that system needs you exhausted, broke, and hopeful, because that combination is the perfect recipe for control. You're just stable enough not to revolt, but never secure enough to leave. You believe in the dream just enough to keep chasing it, but never catch it. The real conspiracy isn't that billionaires sit in dark rooms plotting your misery. It's that the incentive structures, the economic policies, the corporate practices, all align to produce the same result. Your exhaustion is profitable, your stress is productive, and your hope is the fuel that keeps the entire machine running. They don't need to conspire when the system does it automatically. So what do you do with this information? That's up to you. But at least now you see the game board. At least now you understand why you feel the way you do. And maybe, just maybe, that clarity is the first step towards something different. If this changed how you see your job and your stress, hit subscribe because we're just getting started. And what comes next is going to blow your mind even more.